Thank you for joining me in Yoga with Props with me, Jan Graves. So today I brought a bunch of props with me that I actually own that are yoga props. If you don't have yoga props, you can use what you have around your house. I have a bolster. This is a pretty thick and not too heavy, but it's a nice bolster we can use for a couple of different poses, and I'll show you how to do that. If you don't have a bolster, you can probably get a blanket, maybe one from home that's a little bit thicker, and just roll it up, and we can use it again for different poses. I also have a sandbag, and this has like 10 pounds of the gravel that you put in an aquarium, so it's pretty heavy. You can use it for weight work on your legs to help open up your lungs. You can use it just because it feels good. If you have your legs up the wall, you could place the sandbag on your feet. You probably need somebody there to help you with that. But I'll show you how to use a sandbag if you don't have a sandbag. If you have something at home that you could use, maybe, not too heavy, but something that you could place on your body in different areas. Sometimes even we place it on the lower back. Again, just a little bit of weight would feel nice, so that's why we have the sandbag. So I'll just put that to the side. I also have 2 yoga blankets. If you don't have yoga blankets, you can use whatever you have at home. Hopefully you'll have 2 of them, or 3. 3 blankets would be great because we're going to use one as a little pillow. As well as the blankets, I have a strap. The strap can either be a yoga strap like this, or it could be a tie, or something that will allow you to maybe place it under your foot or use it to stretch your shoulders. So anything that you have that's like a strap, go ahead and grab that. And then also I have 2 blocks. I'm sitting on one and this is the other, and I'll show you what to do with the blocks. So to begin with, if you don't have a little meditation seat, you could always use a block. You could put a blanket on top of the block and allow yourself to sit upright. The idea to sitting would be to let your knees be below your hips. I have pretty tight hips, so I do sit up on a block when I do my practice, sometimes with my ankles crossed like this, or sometimes in more of a hero position down on my knees and tops of my feet. And if your knees aren't comfortable doing this, you can always double a block. Again, you can use a couple of pillows. So you're sitting higher and you're not putting pressure on your knees. I use my feet. I press down on the tops of my feet. So I'm going to come back down with 1 block, and I'll just stay in this basic hero pose. And you're going to let your hands turn up first, and let's just touch your fingers, connecting to all the elements, water and air and space, fire. And just let your hands come down onto your lap. And this position with your hands on your lap is somewhat grounding. So if you're feeling a little anxiety or stressed, just let your hands sit on your legs and just let yourself let go. If you want to close your eyes, I have a really nice little thing I'd like to read on a way to stay focused for yourself. So first, let's take your hands, one over your heart and one on your belly, and feel yourself breathe for a minute. Again, let the belly expand. Try not to just take it up into your upper chest. Feel the motion of your hands as they move with your breath, the ebb and flow of your breath. And if you have essential oil and you want to grab it, or you don't have essential oil, that's fine. Essential oils are really nice if you're in any kind of stress, or you just need an uplift. Sometimes I'll take peppermint, put it on my hands, and just get a nice sniff. It just helps me to get energized. So with your eyes closed for a minute, let's focus on your breathing. Take an inhale through your nose, and on the exhalation, if you can, through your nose, feel the cool air as it comes in and out. And at the top of the inhale breath, notice there's a turnaround before it goes out again. So when we exhale, it helps with relaxation. So this breath is called inhale, exhale, and at the bottom of the breath, when we let it out, there's a slight pause. So as you inhale, there's the pause, and as you exhale, there's the pause. So that inhale, exhale, pause, what we want to focus on really is the pause. So between the 2 breaths, just notice how that goes, how your breath comes in slowly turns around to go out. And so the pause, let your mind focus on that a little bit instead of worrying about, am I breathing deep? Am I taking my breath way in? Or am I, just kind of holding my breath? Think of the pause. And as you're thinking of that, we're going to place both your hands lightly on your head, either the crown or even between your eyes, the third eye. And so where your hands are around the head, may your thoughts be guided. And it could just be, may your thoughts be guided to your pause of your breath. Let's take your hands down to your lips. And when you think of your lips, may your words be kind. So whatever comes out here, let it be kind. And then finally take your hands over your heart. And may you always honor your worthiness and the worthiness in others. And that's pretty profound. So to think that you're practicing this yoga with props, with me, your worthiness, my worthiness, and in Namaste, as they say, together we are one. So bringing your hands to your heart, just let your chin drop. And let's bring your hands all the way up as you stretch your arms, bend your elbows, squeeze them together, and then lower your hands down. So where you're seated, go back to your breath, the inhale, the exhale, the pause. And observe your body, observe your posture, try to relax into your seat, and yet keep your alignment. So it's really important that we align our bodies in our practice. And then let your head come down, and let's start with your neck. So if you're okay seated, let's just let your chin lower down to your heart. Feel the stretch naturally occur in the back of your neck, and then let your head come up. Turn it slightly to your left and to your right. And then when you come back to center, try to let your head go. It's hard to do that. So when we get into downward facing dog, and we're going to use a block for it today, you're going to let your head let go, let your sides feel open, let your knees stay slightly bent, and again, enjoy that breath. It's about a good 4 to 5 breaths when we're in downward dog. So if you focus on the pause, the in, pause out, pause in, you could be in downward dog for a while. But let's go ahead and take yourself up onto all fours. Let's just go to your knees and your hands. So I'm going to move around a little bit here. I have a couple of mats, so I'm going to make sure that I have space that you can see what I'm doing with these props. Once you're onto all fours, let's do a little cat stretch. And if you like, come into cow, let your belly drop. And do that cat again. And as you're moving from cat to cow, again, find your breath and the pause. So just make that the most important thing. Not only are you moving your spine, but you're thinking of the pause rather than the breath. It'll come and go. From that, all fours, feel your hands, feel your arms. Draw your abdominals in a little bit. Stay in this nice tabletop. And then we're going to let your right foot just stretch back for a breath or two. And we'll do the same with the left leg, just stretch your foot back. Let both your feet stay curled down, toes down, and we're going to walk back with your hands. Come onto your knees and hands, but let your head go down if that inversion feels okay. Shift from one side of your mat to the other, and then let your hands come over your feet, onto your shins, over your knees, kind of stop there for a second, that feels good on your knees. And then onto your thighs, let's round your back till you're standing all the way upright. And then once you're up, just let your body stand in this mountain pose, so relax your feet. Let's take your shoulders back 2 times, and then forward 2 times. Then let both your hands turn up and lift them up and lower them down. Let's do that with your breath. Let's inhale up, exhale down. There's the pause. One more inhale up. And as your hands go down, lower your head, lift your head, and lower your left ear, right ear, and then come back to center. So we're just going to take a walk to the front of your mat. If you do have a block, we're going to bend your knees and pick the block up. So bend your knees and pick your block up. And once you have the block, and this is basically for alignment with yoga, some teachers do this, some don't, but I kind of like this idea. I'm going to open my feet and place the block between my upper thighs. Then I'm going to push the block, and so that allows the muscle to kind of rotate in. Feels good, and yet the block is stable. So the practice of the block is actually to see your alignment. When I have my feet in this little bit of space, so it's parallel to my body, feels pretty good. I can do a few things with my block between my knees. I'm going to bend them, push my hips back, and lift my arms in a chair seat. But the whole time, I squeeze the block with my thighs. I push down on my feet, and imagine pushing your feet out. So you're getting all this muscular integration. Now keep the block where it is, but slowly push down to come up. Open your arms. Take them down by your sides. And one more time, let's roll your shoulders forward and back once. Let your arms come up. Climb a rope. Just let your sides stretch from your rib, actually from your hip to your rib, to your arm, to your hand, and go both ways. So just imagine you're trying to stretch. Bend your elbows, bring your palms together, bend your knees, and take a seat. So you're kind of squeezing the block, pushing down on your feet. Keep that, but take your hands to your heart, and let's twist to your right and your left. So it keeps alignment in a pretty good place. You come back to center, let your hands go down, add length to your legs, but keep them soft. Now bend your legs and let your hands go up, back to the chair, open your arms and stand. And lower your arms. Now let your hands take the block out. And that little bit of pressure between your legs, you might feel like there's something there. It's like an imprint. Let's do it without the block. So arms up, bend your knees, take a chair seat. Look at your alignment and picture the block there. Palms to your heart. Twist right, left, back to center. Reach your arms, lift them up. Now as your arms come halfway down, slowly stand, back to mountain, and now just give a little shake. So that's just one way of using the block. Another way to use a block, and I like to do this for balance, is to think about tree pose. So you know tree pose, you usually see somebody like that. Doesn't have to be up. That foot can just turn out, press your heel to your leg, and you're already in balance on the right side, right? So you could use the block. I'll show you how you'll use the block in a second. So that's tree. Now let your foot go down. Let's just do that with your right. Just pivot on your heel, turn your toes out, slide your foot in. Find your balance and imagine that you're lifting your foot all the way up in tree. Now lower that foot and lower your hands. Bend your knees and push your hips back. With the block, imaginary between your legs unless you want to use it. We're going to put the weight on your left foot and bring the right foot over the left. Come back to the right, switch your foot, and come back to both. Now bend your knees. In this functional way that we have to get around, try to keep your spine long, your knees bent, and your hips back. Reach for the block. Perfect. Now we're going to bend your knees and take the block on the right side of your baby toe. And you know it's there. You can look. Bend your knees. The left foot is going to go over and push on the block. Now let your knees bend like you're taking a seat. See if you can just lift your heel, then lower it, lift your toes, lower those. If your balance is okay, lift your whole foot. If you feel like your balance is off, push on the block. So let's come up, uncross, lower both feet, look at your alignment, bend your knees. We're going to take the block to the left. So kind of diagonal to your baby toe. How you doing in that functional movement? So once your left foot is down, Bend your knees like you're going to take a seat. Cross your right foot over, and I'm making noise on the block. You don't have to. I'm making sure my foot's on it. Once my foot is there, let's pick up your heel, then down, and now pick up your toes, and down. Now, hands where you like. If this was eagle, we would probably cross one of your arms over, but we're not quite there yet. So let your hands go where you feel comfy. Try to pick your whole foot up, and if the balance shakes, foot down. Keep the left foot down. Let's come up with the right. Both feet back to parallel. Let both arms lift overhead. Bend your knees. Lower your head and your hands. Move the block off to the side, and if it's close enough, reach for your strap. However you want to come up, come to standing. Once you're there, let's just hold the strap taut. And now we're going to open your feet about the width of your mat, maybe a little less. We're going to twist to your right, and then slowly to your left. Try to let your arms do the twist in your waist, but not your knees. And then as you come back to center, push the strap out, open your hands wider than shoulder width, lift the strap up. Ah, that feels good. Now let's just bend the right elbow. Tilt a little to the right so the left side is open. Come back to midline and push the right one up. Bend the left and tilt a little to the left. Good. Now push both arms up. Lower your hands. Keep your shoulders back. And one more twist to your left. And then again, slowly to your right. It's almost like you're turning your legs in opposition of your arms. Not too much, but just enough. See if you can lift your arms up. Now bend your elbows back. Just the right amount. Notice where you feel the shoulder blades, front body, chest. Take a breath. As it empties, there's the pause. Inhale up and let both arms come down. Good. Now take your arms wider if you can. I have long arms, I know. Lift, bend your elbows, and see if you can pull those elbows in and back. Feel your front body, collarbones. Come up, all the way down, and one more time out to come up. Now once you're up, let's keep that right hand on the strap, but the elbow bent. Push the right one up, bend the left. Shoulders are an issue, not to do this or to drop one arm. You can concentrate on the strong. Now with the left arm up, let's let go of the strap with the right hand. As you bend your left elbow, reach for the point. And everything is long. Let your sides be long, but let's relax your shoulders. Tilt a little bit to your right. Come back to center. Let your right hand go down. And see if you can feel where the strap is. You're going to walk your fingers up the strap. If you can, hold it. And now observe your shoulder. So that shoulder rotates back and maybe your elbow forward. Take another breath in. And as you exhale, tilt right again. Your hands are going in opposition on the strap. So my left one is pulling up, the right one is drawing down. If it feels uncomfortable, let your hands let go. Now take the right arm down, lift the left, lower the left, and just move your shoulders forward and back again. So shoulder work is a little uncomfortable, especially when you're using resistance like a strap. But maybe later on in the day you'll feel better. You'll be like, oh, nothing feels bad. It's kind of nice. So with the right hand and the strap, just lift, bend your elbow, and then take your left hand to the point of your elbow. Keep nice and long, take a breath, and on the exhale, tilt left. Not a very long tilt or very bent. It's just enough to feel everything from your hip to your rib, upper arm, upper body. Now let the left arm go up. See if you can lower it down, take it behind your back. Slide your fingers up the strap. And now notice your left shoulder. So again, the shoulder wants to go forward and the elbow back. See if you can reverse that. Right arm is drawing up and the left one down. Take one more breath, and on the exhale, tilt again left. So a little tension helps to create relaxation. Lower that left arm and lift the right. Lower the right. Let go of the strap. And let's take your shoulders forward and back again. Then open your arms. Cross the right one over the left. Can you bring the backs of your hands together? Lift your elbows. Lower your shoulders. Now open your hands. Give yourself a little hug. Lower your arms and lift them up. This time the left arm in front. Bend your elbows. Backs of your hands. Bring your palms up. Shoulders down. Reach for those shoulders. Give yourself a hug. And now lift your arms up and just stretch. Let's take your left hand to your right wrist. Sides are long. Switch wrists. And then just let your arms come down by your sides. For just a minute, give a little shake everywhere. And then observe your shoulders. So they might feel tight, they might feel uncomfortable. So anything that doesn't feel good, you know, right shoulder's a little more tension than the left. Let's just be careful. So we're going to reach for your block. And if you need your strap, you can get it, but I don't think you'll need it. So bend your knees, push your hips back. Let's grab the block and place it on the pinky toe side right foot. And as you come up, let's go cat stretching up, just because that feels good. Move your hips in a circle. Then feel both your feet are rooted. Bend your knees, and as you take a seat, take your left foot to the block. Cross your knees if it's okay. You can keep your foot down, knowing the block is there. Now both arms wide, left over right, backs, elbows, shoulders, and now your foot. And now as you find your focus maybe on me, try to get still, but your body wants to move. Fly like an eagle. Lower your foot. Open your arms. Lift up. Uncross that foot. And as we switch, functionally bend. Reach for the block. This time, let's keep your spine extended to come up. Awesome. So look at your block. Place your right foot on it. Bend your knees a little. Both arms. Right one on top. Backs. Palms. Shoulders. Seat. When you're ready, try to lift your foot. If it's uncomfortable, push down. Hold here for one more breath. Now open your arms. Uncross your legs. Lower your feet. Lift your arms up. Open your arms and swan dive into a forward fold. If you can, move the block to the side and your strap and come onto all fours. One more cat stretch. Cow. Neutral, but open your knees wide. Tops of your feet down, the big toes touch. So we're going to do a little child pose with the bolster. So I'm going to move mine in, and then I'm going to lower my head, arms, and just breathe. So this bolster is nice for this. If you have a couple of blankets and your head is way down, you're not quite there, and you're not very comfortable, you can stack your head on your hands. If you do have your head turned to the side, just switch and try to surrender to the wonderful, delicious child pose. Now let your hands press and lift your head up. Walk your hands backwards, and just if you have a bolster or your blanket, slide it forward a little bit. We're going to come on to your seat and turn the bolster horizontally. You know where we're going, right? So we have a few things to do before we take it down onto your back. So I'm going to move my feet and bolster forward. Actually, I'm going to move the bolster out of the way. And I'm going to go for my blankets. So if you have a yoga blanket, great. Don't worry if you don't. I'm sure you have some kind of blanket at home. But we're going to open it this width, fold it, to this width. And now I'm going to make a fold that's 3 tiers. So I'll go 1, 2, 3. And once you have this fold, you see how it's a little thicker? Sticking with me, I'm going to take the next blanket I have and do the same thing. So here's the blanket. I'm going to fold it again. And now 3 tiers. 1, 2, 3. So the bottom is going to be a little bit longer, and then I have the next one on top. So I'm going to have my head here and my back is going to drape over these blankets in this restorative pose. I didn't grab another blanket. Believe me, I have a zillion of these. I just grabbed what I have in my living room here. So this is a soft, beautiful blanket that I love. It's warm and it's cushy, but it's where my head is going to go. So I'm going to place it. So my head will be here, my middle back, lower back, and actually my tail will be kind of on my mat. So I'm going to let you stay where you are, and I'm going to try to come down onto my blankets, and hopefully you'll be able to see me. And this is a lovely restorative pose. So I have to prop my blanket up because my head is tilting backwards, and I actually want my chin to tilt down a little. I'm going to knock my knees together in cobbler pose and then let go for a minute. So the thing about the blankets is you don't want your head, tilting back. But you see there's a little arch in your upper body, and this is a great pose for breathing. If you're stressed, I would try to find a couple of blankets, get here, maybe a hand over your heart and belly, and just breathe. You can also stretch your legs all the way out, but because of my limited space, I'm just keeping my knees together. It also helps me to relax my legs. Hands here or on your sides, and just let go. Wake me up if I don't turn around in a minute. Actually, so this is a lovely pose to get into, relaxation, cascading relaxation pose. So the way to come out of this, I'm going to use my right arm, and I'm going to bring my knees slowly to the right. Now I'm on a little lip, so I'm going to bring myself to my side. And once I'm on my side, sideline child pose, I'm going to press my top hand and bottom hand down. Bring my head up last. And once I'm up, I'm just going to move my blankets off to the side. So that's what you can do with blankets at home. That's just one of many. And we'll be doing a couple of these yoga with props videos. So let me show you what I do with my sandbag. So if I was to just go into relaxation shavasana on my back, which is the most beautiful healing pose, it's everything that we need to do just to let go. Chakras are aligned. You don't need anything. You could use a blanket under your knees. I could put a pillow, or not even a pillow, something little under my head, not a lot of fluff, just a little bit. But I'm just going to take it down onto my back for now. And with my sandbag, I'm going to place it over my upper thighs. Let my feet go, head and arms. It's so grounding. It feels really good with it on, and it feels really good with it off. The beauty of the sandbag is it does help your legs, and your legs are the gateway to your lungs. So if you've got a little weight here, you can just enjoy the weight. Go back to that IEP breathing. Inhale, pause, exhale, pause, and just go with the pauses. Don't worry about the breath. It'll come and go. The other place you could bring the sandbag to could be across your belly, either vertically or horizontally, and I'm just going to do this for now because it feels good. It's up here, goes down, doesn't affect anything, it feels just right. And I can feel, as you can see, how the sandbag rises on the inhale and just softens down on the exhale. Now I'm going to move the sandbag off to the side, because again, it's heavy. And once it's on the side, just stay in your Shavasana for a few minutes. But I'm getting up, so I'm going to move my fingers and start to move my feet. I'll bend my knees. And again, just let yourself roll onto your side in side lying child pose. So on my side, I want a little separation between my knees. So you could use the sandbag between your legs, just for a little space. You can also use the bolster or the blankets. Or you could place it behind your back. That feels nice. But now I'm going to let it go, and I'm slowly going to press the top and then the bottom hand down. My head comes up last. It's the best thing for my heart. And then I'm going to sit in a cross-legged position. I have enough of an arm length that I can grab my block to come back onto my seat. And once I'm on my seat, I'm just checking to make sure I hit all the points I wanted to today. So there's so many uses for these props, and I always say, if you have them, use them. If you need balance, use a chair, use the counter, so don't let yourself ever fall. Use what you can. With your body sitting upright, just close your eyes again. I feel pretty good, so I'm turning my palms over, and I'm going to touch my index finger and my thumb. And in the right hand, I'm going to breathe in peace, and in the left hand, I'll breathe out release. Just give it a few moments. And then let your chin lower to your heart. Let your hands come together there in prayer pose. And set your own intention for yourself today that you're practicing self-care, you're learning, you're doing things online that you probably never would have the time to do. So sometimes these little things are a gift. And I thank you guys for your patience and hanging with me, Yoga with Props with Jan. Namaste.